Welcome to the Weekend Live Show.
508 is where I'm from.
We run down the biggest stories of the week with you every Saturday night. Let us know in the comments right now where you reppin'.
Apache Junction, Canton, Worcester, Long Island, Manchard, South Florida, Webster, Malden, Framingham, Tucson, Billerica, Salem, Gloucester, Moosop, Connecticut, Charleston, South Carolina, Roslindale, Moosop, Connecticut, London, Hanson, Glendale, Arizona, Lynn, Mapleville, Quincy.
Food stands, leave it closed, buddy, and
hey, you a funny ass guy, man.
Have you ever heard of Turtleboy? Yeah? Are you a fan?
508 is where I'm from.
Hey, what's up?
508 is where I'm from.
How was that?
You a freaking idiot. Stop telling people that I'm mentally deranged and stupid.
Call me Aidan. He's not a doctor, but...
Get out of my store, please.
You're a fucking loser.
You are a loser.
You're not a journalist. You're nobody.
You're not turtle hair. Don't make such fun of the criminal justice system.
NFL on the house, blog that.
Let's get this party started.
Smooth, you know I look so smooth. Try to pay attention, baby, you can learn a thing or two. You know I do just what I wanna do. Turning every head and catching every eye in the room. Ooh, baby, I'm a standout. So come on, baby, stand up, we'll make it move. Ooh, baby, I'm a standout. So come on, baby, stand up, we'll make it move. Stand up, stand out. Stand up, stand out. Stand up, stand out. Time, yeah, all we got is time. We ain't going anywhere, we're here until we feel that vibe. Ooh, baby, I'm a standout. So come on, baby, stand out, we'll make it move. Stand out, so come on, baby, stand out, we'll make it move. Stand out, 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 stand out. Make it
Yellow, what's up, people? How's everyone out there doing tonight? Good, excellent. Surprise live show. I wasn't planning on doing a show tonight, guys, but a million people have been messaging me about this Canton 9 situation, so it needs to be addressed, and we just got to talk about it because it's kind of really important to talk about what's happening here. So anyway, welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. If it's your first time here, my name is Aidan Kearney. Some people call me Clarence Woods Emerson. That's my Facebook name. But you can call me whatever you want. A lot of people, old school turtle riders, call me Uncle Turtleboy. I prefer doctor because if Joe Biden's a doctor, then I'm definitely a doctor too. So you can call me doctor. Some people choose to call me daddy. That's a thing lately. People are saying, oh, you want people to call you daddy. Nope. People started calling me that, and I'm not going to object if you call me daddy. I'm just saying. So you can call me any of those things. I don't care what you call me. Just be here for Tuesday and Saturday nights for the live show at 9 p.m. and make sure you smash that subscribe button. We're getting close to 50,000 subscribers. You get a little plaque from YouTube if you get up to 100. So that'd be cool. I never thought I'd get one of those. So yeah, make sure you guys smash that subscribe button for me. Hit the notification bell in case we do impromptu lives. You never know when we're going to do one of those bad boys. You're not going to want to miss out. Oh, these shadows are killing me. Hold on. I can't stand the shadows. Give me 1 second to fix this. Got to get rid of those shadows. Nope, that's making it worse. Okay. I think they're gone. No, I still see one. Okay, no, I still see a shadow. It's got to go away. No, now I'm going away. Okay, we got to find a happy medium. We'll go with that. Whatever. All right, cool. Anyway, guys, we're also live on Rumble, so shout out to the Rumble Rats over there. 202 of you watching. Tracy Smith, Boston, Mass. Don't forget us, Rumble Rats. XO Michelle says, I still see you over there. So nice to see you guys. All right, cool. Anyway, guys, yeah, that was a different intro, special intro for tonight because it's a special show. We got to talk about what's happening here. But anyway, guys, if you like the program and you would like to financially support us, you can't do the super chat thing because YouTube does not let us take your money anymore because we had the wrong opinions about a lot of things. But more than anything, we had the wrong opinions about a certain president's vaccine mandate a couple years ago. And yeah, so that's cool. But because those crooks took 40% anyway, so we just went ahead and we built our own platform. It's called Turtle Chat. If you click at the link at the top, pin to the top, that brings you to a thing called Turtle Chat. You can donate whatever amount of money you want. When you do, I will get you get to write a message. I will get an email notification and I will read that message out loud to the class. Or you can Cash App me. My Cash App is $ Uncle Turtleboy. I got actually a Turtle Chat here. Let me read off. First one is from DW, sends $25, says, fascism is alive and well in the town of Canton. Everyone should repeat that out loud until they are blue in the face. Using government to strong arm people and stifle dissent. It's an almost textbook definition. Very, very pathetic. Don't let them get away with it, says DW. Yeah, and really no part of that is an exaggeration whatsoever. And we're going to get to that tonight, exactly what they're doing there. So also got a couple Cash Apps in here. Hold on, where we got Cash Apps from? All right, we got Jim Ferris Bueller sends $10 and says, are you a campfire? Because you're hot and I want some more. Stop it. Stop it, Jim Ferris Bueller. Just a Tune LLC sends $10 and says, for daddy, no homo, none taken. Appreciate that, Just a Tune. Jen Lacey sends $50 and says, always here for you. Don't give up. Well, I really appreciate that, Jennifer, and I never, ever will. Let me tell you that much. And yeah, Erin sent $20 on Wednesday for Thanksgiving. She just said, happy Thanksgiving, Unc. We are thankful for you. Hope you guys all had a happy Thanksgiving, by the way. I certainly did. I had that buffalo chicken dip to the dome. It was all for me, and it was awesome, and no one else can have any. And so I'm filled up. I'm feeling nice and good. Watched some football today. You guys watch that Auburn-Alabama game? Holy shit. I don't know if you guys are college football fans, man. I love the Iron Bowl. I always go for Auburn in the Iron Bowl. And, you know, even no matter how bad Auburn is, they always give Alabama a game. Or at least they should, at least when they're at home. And, I mean, like when you just want to yell at the TV, when you're just like, dude, how the fuck do you rush 4th and 31? You're going to lose on 4th and 31? You're going to rush 2 guys? You're going to get cute? Like, you deserve that shit. You deserve, oh my God. So, yeah. So that's dumb. In Michigan, I always go for Michigan with Ohio State, Michigan. So nice to see the Wolverines win. I'm not a Michigan fan or anything like that, but you know, in these rivalries, you got to pick a side. I pick Michigan. That's just so I pick. So anyway, I kind of like the underdogs. You know, like Michigan has historically been the underdog in that series, and Auburn's been the underdog in that series, and I'm an underdog guy. Always been my thing. But anyway, oh yeah, Matt McCabe. Did you guys hear about this? That's the other thing. A lot of people messaged me about Matt McCabe, bitch tits McCabe. He got into an altercation at the Waterfall Bar on Wednesday night, and people are saying like he assaulted an elderly guy. He beat up an elderly guy. Okay, well, I'm hearing conflicting reports on that. I don't think Matt McCabe is the kind of guy that goes around just beating up the elderly for fun. He certainly covers up murders. Like, he's really good at that. But as far as just going around beating up the elderly, I was told that he got in some sort of fight with a guy who's like 60. And he's like a townie. I don't know if he's a retired cop or what he is, but just, I heard the other guy is kind of a douchebag too. I don't know. I can't really comment. I don't want to say that, but I guess his name is either Matt Devine or Mike Devine, one of those two. And that they got into a physical altercation at the waterfall on Wednesday night. I mean, first of all, I don't know if any what is true and what's not. Okay. Canton Club, people are saying not waterfall. I don't really give a shit. Okay. I don't give a shit. There was an incident at the waterfall bar, I'm told, and this does kind of interest me a bit. I guess Officer Wade's son or whatever, another Wade, because these people are all family in the Canton Police Department. Wade is the guy that had sex with Chris Albert's wife, Julie Albert. And there's another Wade, and that Wade apparently got so drunk he had to get, I'm told he almost was catatonic at the bar, and it was an ugly scene. That interests me because that's like the police acting badly, another Canton cop acting badly. That interests me, but I have no interest in Matt McCabe getting in a dust up with some guy. I'm not trying to make Matt McCabe look like let's stick to the facts. Matt McCabe covered up a murder. That's bad enough on its own. I don't need Matt McCabe goes around beating up the elderly. I don't need that. Matt McCabe covers up murders. That's all for me. Okay. Now, the mere fact, I will say this, that these guys, that this is what they do on Thanksgiving Eve, how old are they? How old is Matt McCabe? 50? I don't even know how old he is. Getting close to 50, I'm sure, if not already. And that this is what these people do on Thanksgiving Eve. I remember when Thanksgiving Eve was a big deal for me. It was called being 25. It's like when when you're still, or 20, for instance, like that. Thanksgiving Eve was a really big night for me when I was 20, because I went to UMass, and that's kind of the first weekend when everyone's home and you get together with all your high school buddies. Yeah, the Kowloon bar. It's like, I have no interest in that shit. Like, there's a huge fight at Kowloon. Is that how you say it? I've never been there before. The one in Saugus that everybody goes to on Route 1. But what kind, you're 50 years old? Does that not say everything that this is what these people do? That they have after parties, right? That's how this whole shit started, right? With an after party at the house behind me. You're a grown ass man. You're 50 years old. You got kids at home. They have soccer in the morning, and you're having after parties. What the fuck's wrong with you? What is wrong with these people? What are these people doing? And so I guess they're going out getting drunk on Thanksgiving Eve. I remember it was 15 years ago I retired from that. When I remember Thanksgiving Eve used to be the night. It's the biggest drinking night of the year. And then you become an adult, and you're I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be if I go to the bar, I'm not gonna know anyone. I'm gonna be the old guy at the bar. I'm not gonna be Matt McCabe. I'm not gonna be that guy. Matt McCabe doesn't mind being Matt McCabe because he is Matt McCabe. So I guess he doesn't mind going to bars and apparently getting into confrontations with other, So the guy he got in a fight with is probably a douchebag too. I would guess probably a douchebag. They're all douchebags. All of these, they're all grown children who just don't know how to behave. All of them. The only one in this whole situation who knew how to behave her name is Karen Reed. That's it. The rest of them are assholes. So anyway, that's the extent of my thoughts really on the Matt McCabe situation that everyone keeps talking about. But anyway, any more turtle chats to read before we get started here? Couple. We got one here from Glamour Sue, sends $50. She says, I lost my voice screaming at the Auburn games. I know, Suzanne, it was fucking awful. So pissed off, such a horrible last minute war damn Eagle forever. It's if you're watching that game and you're Ohio State, you got to be pissed too, because Ohio State's probably out of the playoff now. I don't see how Ohio State's going to get in. The Pac-12 champion's getting in, right? For the Pac-12 champion never gets in. They're going to get in this year. The winner of Washington, Oregon's going to get into the playoff. The Big Ten champion's going to get in. If Florida State wins, and you assume they will in the ACC championship, they're going to get in. That's 3. And then the SEC champions getting in. That's it. There's no other spots. You're out. The Big Ten losers out. But if Alabama had lost that game like they were supposed to, and then they went and beat Georgia in the SEC championship, Georgia would be out. And Alabama, the SEC champion, would not get in. And that would have been Ohio State. That's the only way Ohio State could have gotten in, is if Alabama had lost to it. And that was it. So they got to be pissed about that one. So anyway, that's my rant about college football, but I want to bore you guys with that. All right. Anyway, the Knowles, we got Mike Bradford here. He's one of the Canton 9. But yeah, the Knowles they're gonna have a tough time without their quarterback, man. And you know that. You almost don't want to get in if you're Florida State. Okay. Thank you, Glamasus. We got another turtle chat here from Sonia, sends $10. It says, excited to see an impromptu night, Daddy. In quotation marks. You don't have to put in quotation marks. Appreciate that, Sonia. Thank you, and glad to have you aboard. Detective sends $28. Says, thank you for this impromptu live, showing up and standing up simply for the Canton 9 tonight. Wow, mad props. Yeah, absolutely. They deserve it. Couple turtle chats here. Emmy Anasis sends $10 and says, right fighting. Okay, right fighting. Thank you, Emmy. And then Emmy sends another $10 with no comment. So thank you, right, Emmy. I appreciate that. Brown sends $10 and says, from New England's Scratcher, love Cassie's Corner. Okay, glad to hear. So if anyone else wants to donate, the link to Turtle Chat is pinned to the top of the chat there, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy. Let's just jump right into it, shall we, guys? Let me pull this blog up. So I just want to make sure I have these all set here. Canton 9 situation. I want to get my video up of the Canton 9 so I can have it ready to rock. Okay. All right. Let me pull up here. Oh, and by the way, I got Court Tuesday, right? I got Court Tuesday. It's at 2 p.m. I said 9 a.m. I have to adjust that. Court Tuesday to get my phones back is at 2 p.m. So let's get that 2 p.m. If anyone wants to join me, I will be in Canton, Massachusetts. Not Canton, in Stoughton, Massachusetts, Stoughton District Court at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Okay, let me pull up what do I have over here. Give me 1 sec. All right, I think I got it. All right, here we go. So this is one of. So if you guys don't remember, I'll play the tape in a little bit if you haven't seen it already. But there was a peaceful protest on the busiest street in Canton, Washington Street, a few weeks ago. There was 9 peaceful protesters who stationed themselves across the street from the waterfall, like diagonally from D&E Pizza. And they were holding signs saying justice. One of the guys had a hoodie of John O'Keefe's face on it. And they were like free Karen Reed. Colin was in the house. One of them said, and yeah, like they didn't harm anyone. They were just standing there. They weren't bothering anyone. They were exercising their First Amendment rights. And the police came down, sent by Helena Rafferty with a printout of 13 of chapter MGL, Mass General Laws, chapter 268, section 13A, which is picketing a witness, not 13B, which is witness intimidation, but 13A, which is picketing a witness. It's a misdemeanor. I'm being charged with 4 of those counts for the rolling rally thing. And they said that what these people were doing was illegal. And the whole altercation lasted 6 or 7 minutes. And the police ended up admitting on tape that nothing was illegal. And since then, attorney Mark Randazza filed a lawsuit in federal court alleging or asking the court to issue a temporary restraining order on the Canton Police Department from stopping any further protests at D&E Pizza. And the court denied it because they said that there was no prior restraint, essentially, that there was no incident here where anyone was arrested or any threat to arrest. We're going to read the whole thing. And that was the reason that the order was ultimately denied. But now it turns out it looks like there was actually a threat to arrest because the whole time the Canton police were plotting to charge these people. So here is and that one of the Canton 9, his name is Mike Bradford. He's I believe he's a dentist. He got a summons here for the 24th of I apologize. January 4th, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. The Canton Police Department was the applicant. And how this works, guys, is this is different from what happened to me. So I was charged. Oh, what did I just do? Hold on. Let's fix that. There we go. So when I was charged, right, the police went in front of a magistrate. How this works is they present all this information to a magistrate if it's like on the fence. That's my understanding of it. If it's on the fence. And if the magistrate finds probable cause, they will charge you. And then you got to go and get arraigned. Right. And if it's a serious crime, they will issue a warrant to have you arrested. But for the most, like, you know, witness intimidation is never a warrant to arrest. But of course, for me, it was because I'm special. I'm special. I was a flight risk, they said, even though I do a YouTube show from my basement and I have nowhere to go. Apparently, I'm a flight risk. But the Canton 9 are basically like, so I didn't even get a magistrate's hearing. I didn't even get this. These 9 people are getting this. They are getting a magistrate's hearing. They're going to go in front of a magistrate. And that's like one step down from a judge, kind of. And I don't even know if they go to law school, clerk to magistrates, but I'm not exactly sure what they seem to know the law a little bit. I've been to many of these hearings before. A lot of people have tried to charge me with crimes, and all of them have failed until now. And so these people are going to have to go in front of a magistrate now, and they will be able to make their case that there is no probable cause. The government, the police are going to make the case that there is probable cause, and they will have a chance to say otherwise. So the crimes that the Canton 9 are charged with here are 268-13A, that's picketing of a witness, and 13B, which is the felony charge of witness intimidation from November 5th. And they will go, this notice is to inform you that a magistrate's hearing will be held at this court to determine whether criminal proceedings will be commenced against the above named defendant in this matter. The hearing will be held on the date and time indicated above. You may appear at this hearing to present your side of the case. You may bring witnesses with you. You may also bring a lawyer, although it is not required that you be represented by counsel. Please bring this notice and report to the clerk magistrate's office upon your arrival at court. The courthouse address, blah, 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 blah. So you are hereby are notified that the above named complainant has filed an application for criminal complaint against the above named defendant and has requested a hearing by a judicial officer of this court. The number of offense counts, charges in the criminal complaint, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So does it say the hearing? Does it say what room it's in? Usually it says the room, incident report number. I guess you go in and to the clerk's office and they'll tell you where to go. But so this is one of, Lauren Green, by the way, is the name of the clerk magistrate. And this was issued on November 22nd, which was how many days ago? That was Wednesday, right? Wednesday. They did this Wednesday by Lauren Green, and she is the one, I guess, who will oversee this. I don't know much about this woman, but she's probably corrupt because all these fucking assholes are that work, that even are participating in this charade. So that was what Mike Bradford got. Now, the others that I know as a fact have gotten one are Meredith O'Neill has got one. She and Deanna Corby, who were two of the Canton 9, they had to call, and they're both listed in the lawsuit. Only 6 of the 9, by the way, are listed in the lawsuit that filed by Mark Randazza. Mike Bradford was not. He was not listed there. But the other two, Deanna and Meredith, are. Now, the Roccos are both there too. They have not received anything yet. I'm anticipating that's coming. Rocco's cousin is 17 years old, and he has been summoned to juvenile court in Dedham for this. They're bringing a 17-year-old in. A 17-year-old. 17-year-old Colin Albert was inside 34 Fairview Road when John O'Keefe arrived, had animosity towards him, had cut up knuckles and a black eye weeks afterwards, was never questioned, was intentionally kept out of all police reports by his good friend, Michael Proctor. And then compare that treatment with what this kid's getting. There's some kid that goes down and stands on Main Street with a sign saying Colin Albert was in the house, now has to go to juvenile court on a school day. This is what they're doing on the school day. They're making this kid go down there and deal with this. I'm getting messages right now. Let's read these from some of the Canton 9 here. Yeah, his name is Tim, and his hearing is December 18th at 11 a.m. And I mean, to a kid. I mean, they're sending this shit to a fucking kid. This is insane. The clerk magistrate's name there is Robert L. Ryan. And he has to go, and it doesn't even say like bring a parent or anything. I mean, this is what the courts are doing. This is insane. Absolutely insane that they're doing this. Getting another message here. What's this that's being sent to me? Hold on. Yeah, okay, hold on. Let's see. What does this say? Michael Finland. What is this? 7/27/23. Not sure what this is that you just sent me. Okay, hold on. You got to, if you're going to message me during the show, please make sure to explain what it is you're sending, because I have no idea. These Helena's divorce records. Okay, just so let me know what the interest in that is. Just explain that one to me. Anyway, so yeah. So the police decide not to arrest, yet later charge them. Yeah, and we're going to get to that. And it is interesting. And I don't want these people to have to go through what I went through at all. But it's just kind of like immediately, it's like, I can't help but notice that like, oh, so there is another way to handle this. For these exact same charges, men with guns came to my house, took my phones, took my computer, raided my house, put me in cuffs, put me in chains and shackles, paraded me in front of cameras, and all this shit. And these people should not be treated this way. This is the, if you're going to be summoned for something like this, this is the appropriate way to do it, is a clerk magistrate's hearing. They shouldn't be at all, but if they're going to do it, it's supposed to be with a clerk magistrate's hearing and a summons, not freaking coming to your house with search warrants and putting you in cuffs and stuff like that, obviously. But yeah, this is a sign of weakness. This is a major sign of weakness. Now, I cannot, obviously, because of a court order, I certainly can't encourage massive protests outside of D&E Pizza. I can't do that. But I'm going to be reporting on this is all I'm saying. I'm going to be reporting on what's happening. So if I'm going to be, I'm going to be writing a story about these charges. I've been told by others that there's some sort of protest going on that they have planned. If that's the case, I'm going to report on it. I'm just reporting on the facts. So it is what it is. I'm not encouraging anything, to be perfectly clear. Obviously, I cannot participate because my First Amendment rights are being trampled on as well. For now, we will win in the end. But, you know, when I look back at great things in American history, it's like, you know, like what happened during the freedom rides in 1961. A bunch of people went down there on buses to desegregate interstate bus facilities. And by the time they got to Mississippi, the government there was not having it. And they said, you're all just going to Parchman prison camp. And so they sent 2 busloads of people to Parchman prison camp. And that only encouraged more buses. Like the South Mississippi was invaded basically by liberal Northerners on integrated buses coming down and just being like, arrest me, do it. And eventually that caused change to occur, because when hundreds of law-abiding people are charged with crimes, the government can't ignore it. And what's happening right now is the government is ignoring this. Like the Attorney General, Andrea Campbell, needs to get off her ass and do something about this, because ultimately she is supposed to oversee all this. And the governor, Maura Healey, needs to do something about this. They cannot just claim anymore that they are not aware of this. And your elected officials need to do something about this. So I have been working with people, and I have a plan for this. We are going to organize a well-organized email campaign to our legislators about this. Now, I have to think about how we're going to write the emails, if we can do like a form email or something, or you can do your own and I give you like a template to work with. But we need to stress key points here about what we want the government to do, what we want our elected officials to do about this. And I don't even think we should really focus on Karen Reed that much, or me. Like, I think we should avoid using names. I think we should focus on the fact that there is obvious corruption in the district attorney's office, and they are now arresting peaceful protesters for pointing this out. Lots of them. This is now 10 people who have been charged with this. If this happens, 10 people. And I think that we need to just start contacting them and saying, you know, you need to do something about this. Like, Michael Morrissey's office is not the highest office in the land. It needs oversight. We can't wait on the feds. The Fed fairies, they're going to come, but we can't just sit there on our ass and wait for them anymore. We need action. We need action. We need people who have the authority to step up and do something about this. We cannot have our rights trampled on. So the problem is, I think most people probably don't even know who their state rep or state senators are. So I've had a Turtle Rider put together kind of a spreadsheet that shows, based on what town you live in, who is your state representative. We're going to have email contacts for all of them, and your state senators as well. Email contacts for all of them. And we need to start mass emailing these people and contacting them. And we do have a protest coming up outside of the State House coming up in hopefully January, but I'm not sure the exact date. Obviously, people like Bill Galvin are useless, right? But Bill Galvin's one of 160 state reps. Bill Galvin is in with, he's the Canton state rep. He's in with the Canton cabal, right? But my state rep isn't, and my state rep needs to know that, like, there were children in her neighborhood who were being spied on by pedo state troopers in the days leading up to my arrest. And they referred to a school bus full of children as a yellow target. I think that should concern all of the residents of Holden. So we're going to be contacting her. We have a new state senator, Peter Durant. I'm going to be contacting him, but we all need to do this. I've emailed. The responses show how little they care. What are they? Well, and that's the thing, because they got one email. They need to get hundreds, thousands of emails. Like, this is the most important shit, the emailing campaign. If we're not going to actually do something about this, then nothing's going to get fixed. We need to do something about this. period. And again, it's like there's a lookup online where you put your zip. And again, but that's one step for people that they're not going to do. So we just need to, we've put together that for people to get out there and do it. Okay. So anyway, instead of holding signs, we should throw it. No, you shouldn't throw eggs, but I get what you're saying there. It is ironic that you can throw eggs at people in Canton and not get arrested, but if you hold a sign in Canton, you will be arrested. Yeah, I mean, guys, the 911 recording, yeah, you've heard bits and pieces of it. Like, I can't, like, if you want to hear it, it's out there. Okay. I'm not posting it. I everything I do is for a reason. Let's just say that, but you should be on Twitter. Just get on Twitter. If you're not on, if people are like, well, I'm not on Twitter, so I can't read, then I have a solution for that. Get on Twitter. It takes 2 fucking seconds to create an account. Get on Twitter. You can hear everything. Everything's on there. So get on there, because that's where all the good shit is. Like, all the good shit is on Twitter. Nothing's on Facebook anymore. I mean, I like the Facebook group, but all the good shit's on Twitter. You got to get on Twitter. Anyway, so yeah, all these people are going to be charged, are going to be summoned and brought in. So I have some thoughts on this, right? And I talked to Nick Rocco about this today. Now, personally, I think that they should all use the same attorney. That's just my thought. And so I'm going to be calling around asking attorneys if they're interested in this case. Okay. I don't want to see people get ripped off. I saw the number 7,500 out there. That's a fucking abomination and a non-starter. 7,500 for 1 days of work is fucking insane. Our people should not be getting ripped off by this. You can get an attorney for a good attorney for significantly cheaper than that to do 1 day's worth of work. This is not a complicated case. As we're going to see in the tape, they literally tell you that what you're doing is lawful. Now, Mark is not a defense attorney. Mark does not do criminal defense. Mark does civil cases. He sues people. He defends people who are like me, like he represents me in a libel case. So he doesn't do criminal defense. He is, has discussed appealing that last ruling and going forward with a strong lawsuit against some of these institutions. But again, like, that's the kind of shit, like when you're running a law firm, you only have so many hours in the day and you can't work for free. And so we have to decide where resources are best being used as far as fundraising. Like, do we want to, and that's something I need to discuss, I think, with the Canton 9 about that. And again, people are asking, where's the 911 call on Twitter? You guys got to find it, man. You just got to look. You can't lead a horse. Like, you got to find this shit. It's out there. Trust me. Everything's out there. You ask around, you message people. It's out there. You can get it. The ACLU does not do criminal defense, but certainly I think that they should have something to say about this. And they're not going to have anything to say. Let's just put it this way. The ACLU and all these organizations aren't going to have anything to say about it with 9 defendants. They would have something to say about it if it was 300 defendants. Let's put it that way. Like, it's really easy to ignore 9 people. It's not easy to ignore 300 people. So it is what it is. Anyway. So yeah. Kofindafer posted the 911 call. Get out of here. So the 911 call, guys, it appears to be very bad for Jennifer McCabe. That's what they're saying. It's very bad for Jennifer McCabe. And I've been told that she just sounds very not surprised. Keep in mind, Jennifer McCabe was with John O'Keefe at midnight. Even according to her story, they were together at the Waterfall Bar at midnight. The reason that that John O'Keefe was going to Fairview Road was Jennifer McCabe invited him there. So John O'Keefe got there. She claims he didn't come inside. So at the very least, she saw him and spoke to him past midnight. And then at 6 a.m., a mere 6 hours later, here she finds on the front lawn the body of her friend, quote unquote, John O'Keefe, who is the father, the adopted father of her daughter's friend. And, you know, you should be in shock. If you find the body, your emotions in that situation should be like hysterical. Like if you've ever found a dead body, and I have, unfortunately, right? When I was in college, one of my roommates died. And let me tell you, like I had seen him about 6 hours. No, not 6 hours, about 12 hours prior. He was in my room the night before. And when we found his body, it was surreal. It was just freaking out. Like there's no other way to describe it. Everyone was freaking out. Everyone was crying. People didn't know what to do. It was like you were frozen. So I've been told that Jennifer McCabe's demeanor on the tape is just rather stoic. Oh yeah, so you know, I think he's dead. Not crying, not upset. But I've heard that Karen's reaction is the exact opposite. That is what people say. That is 100% authentic. And the fact that they have that tape now, and the fact that they are not blasting it everywhere for the world to see, shows you that they know how bad it makes Jennifer McCabe looks. Not just bad, evil. Evil. So anyway, if you want, I'm not like, I love the people like, how can I see it? Guys, go figure it out. Not telling me. Go figure it out. Anyway, she's acting like a naughty middle school kid who got caught sneaking out or something. Yeah, and I'm told that she whispers at some point during the tape too. That she whispers something to the effect of no one's coming out of the house, which is at the exact, and keep in mind, she called Nicole at 6:07 and talked to her for 8 seconds, I believe, 7 or 8 seconds. Certainly enough time to say, no one's coming out of the house. And why would anyone be whispering at all just 4 minutes after discovering a dead body? Like if it were me and I discovered a dead body, I can't wait to finally get a hold of this tape for the first time and play it. It's going to be wild. But if I were to come across my friend's dead body on the lawn, who I was just with 6 hours ago, and it's cold, and it was on my brother-in-law's front lawn, you know what the first thing people are saying? That's not what was being said. So that's not what was being said. It wasn't, are you coming out to help? So let's be clear about that. But anyway, what happened? So if you were to find your friend's dead body on Brian and your brother-in-law's front lawn, and you know that they keep their door unlocked for some reason, wouldn't one of the first things, and he's cold and they have blankets inside, and your brother-in-law's a trained first responder, would not the first thing you think to do, or one of the first things, is run inside that house for help? Scream to high heavens. How about blankets? We need blankets. We need help here. We need Brian. Like Brian knows how CPR works. Obviously, he's trained in CPR. Let's get him out here. Instead, so stupid saying Karen told Jen to Google how long to die in cold. What possibly would be the reason? You heard Karen on the voicemail. That's the least of her concerns. Yeah, I think once that voicemail officially becomes public, I think it's going to completely kill any sort of idea that Karen Reed was like, oh yeah, can you Google that for me, Jen McCabe? First of all, that story is ridiculous to begin with. The idea that there's first responders everywhere at 624. Instead of asking them, it's like they pretend the house is not there. That's a good way to put it, Laura. It's like right there and there's a body. It's like there's warmth in that house. It's fucking freezing out. It's like, can we bring him inside? Can we get his body inside? Or like, Brian, how the fuck did this happen? What's going, like, aren't you surprised? How is Jennifer McCabe not surprised when she finds this fucking dead body? She's not even surprised. It's going to be so bad. It's going to be so bad, and not for Karen Reed. It's going to be so bad for Jennifer McCabe. Like, so bad. You have to fake it a little bit. You have to pretend like you're actually shocked. And that's the only way, like, when you hear it, guys, you will have this reaction. Like, there will be no other reaction. Like, pure evil. Pure evil. Pure evil. Isn't it the voicemail that recorded Jen was, that's what we're told. That she that they left that Karen Reed's phone was in the back seat of the car, and that she had called John O'Keefe, was called because they were looking for him, so she kept calling him. And when she saw the body, she just dropped the phone, jumped out of the car, and remember Karen said on the top of the courthouse steps on May 24th when they interviewed her, and she said, I was the only one who tried to save John's life. I tried to save John's life. I was the only one. It sounds like the tape confirms that, because Jennifer McCabe certainly didn't try to save his life at all. At all. At all. So anyway, yeah, she did say 34 3 times, and it also said 32 Fairview Road in the official police report. That's interesting. That's interesting too. I mean, there's just so much to this, man. How does that would be my, like, run into the house, go and get your brother. Like, she did not. It's 6:24. I'd love to do a minute by minute breakdown of this. 6:24 comes around, and Jen McCabe has not gone in the house. Like, you were there, you got there at 6:03. It's 21 minutes later. The cops are all there by now. I'm not sure what time they got him out of there. Got him on the gurney and put him in the ambulance. Probably within 15 minutes, I'm guessing, 20 minutes tops. Yet at 6:24, by that point, like, how are you not immediately running into that house? And you know the answer to that. There's only one reason that Jennifer McCabe would not run into that house. It's that she wanted to be the first one to speak to every police officer who arrived at that scene. Every single police officer who arrived that day is a graduate of Canton High School. All of them. She has known that, including Mulaney, who graduated in 2014. Not that much older than her own kids. Including Saraf, who graduated in the 90s with her. Including Lank, who graduated in 1990, 4 years ahead of her. Including, I mean, you name it. Who else was there? Gallagher. He's a little bit older. He graduated in the 80s. Including, what's his name? Good. Sergeant Good. Like, graduated in 1998 with Jill Daniels. Good friend of Jill Daniels. And Courtney Proctor. That's why she didn't go in the house. Is she wanted to be the person that first spoke with every cop that arrived and set the narrative. She needed to be able to, she was the quarterback. She needed to be able to control the entire thing. And she certainly didn't want to bring Brian Albert outside. And she certainly didn't want to bring Nicole Albert outside. Because Brian Albert was probably covered in scratches or had some markings on him that indicated that he had been in a fight, that there had been some sort of sign of a struggle, something like that. So I can't wait for this all to come out. I don't think that this should go to trial, because I think this should be dismissed. I'm being charged with saying that. I feel the same way. I think that this case is a clear motion to dismiss, based and more than anything here. And this is what we should talk about when we email our state legislators, is we should focus on the relationship between Michael Proctor and the witnesses in this case. I mean, that the fact that they're close, that is such an easy thing for anyone to understand, is that Michael Proctor had a close personal relationship with all of the people in this case. And the district attorney on August 25th got on video and said that they have no relationship whatsoever. So there's that. Is it going to trial? I still don't think it's going to go to trial, because I think I am sure that the feds are going to indict someone on this. I am 100% positive. The feds indict on 95 to 99% of all grand juries that they convene. And I know as a fact, I have information. I know as a fact that Karen Reed is not a target of the federal government's investigation, that she has been 100% cleared in this. And so Karen Reed, then her defense team would be a cooperating witness in this. And Karen Reed has not been called in front of the grand jury. Nothing like that. All these other people have. I've never been called in front of a federal grand jury before because I don't participate in murders. So there's that. Okay. So back to the Canton 9 here. So I think that they should get one attorney for all 9 of them. That's what I think. Because they're going one after another. I think Meredith O'Neill's thing is at 10. And by the way, this is retaliation. This is them. I mean, the balls to do this the day after being that the people, 2 days after the people vote to audit you, you do something like this. Like, that's ballsy. That's just like, they don't give a fuck about appearances. They are way past appearances. And this is all Helena Rafferty being pressured to do this by the district attorney's office. Right? It's all that. Anyway, so yeah, anyway, what was I going to say here? So I think they should all get one attorney because they're getting called one after another, 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11, etc. And this is all on January 4th, by the way, the day before Karen Reed's hearing, which is interesting timing. I think they should all have one attorney because as somebody, I used to teach the same class 5 times a day to 5 different 11th grade classrooms. The same subject matter, though. By the time I taught it the 5th time, I knew it so well. Like when I taught it the first time, sometimes I'd have to be looking at my notes during it or, need a reminder. Like it just didn't, it's the first trial run. You're getting used to it. By the 5th time around, I knew exactly the parts where I messed up the first time and I could deliver it all smoothly. It was all good. It was all good. And I feel that with this case, you're going to have 5 different, these hearings are every 30 minutes. You get an attorney for a couple grand, whatever it costs, go a few grand to go in there and you just go 10 o'clock, have the same argument for each case. The same argument, boilerplate it. You don't want different arguments with different, it's the same. These people are all being accused of the same crime. They should have the same attorney making the same arguments. And by the time they do it, they'll have it down pat. That's what I think that they should do. I do not think they should get separate attorneys. I think that's a bad idea. I think anybody who's offering that, charging a significant amount of money for this, I don't think I'd be wary of any attorney trying to make a lot of money off this. I think you should have an attorney who is, really, passionate about the First Amendment about this, because this is an outrage. What's happened to these people? It's an absolute outrage. So I think that people should go in there and be represented by one attorney, and that's it. I think that's to their best benefit. Now, if they get charged with a crime, then we have a different conversation. But I think it's better if they just have one attorney going into this. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Other people differ on this. But again, united front here. None of these people did anything wrong. So let's go to the tape now and see let's review what happened here, starting from the beginning. Before we do that, let me read a couple turtle chats if we have any here. All right, let me read some turtle chats. All right, first up, we got Kelly sends $25 and says, "We appreciate you. Will you give us your buffalo chicken dip recipe?" It's on allrecipes.com. If you just Google buffalo chicken dip recipe, I just got it off of that. Also, everyone donate to the Canton 9. Kelly and Mike W. Yes, absolutely. And so, yeah, I appreciate that, Kelly. Don sends $27 and says, "I wore my free Karen Reed hoodie to the Foxborough Town tree lighting earlier tonight. Got lots of free Karen Reed love from a lot of people, including a group of firefighters and even Pat, the Patriots handler. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Don. I appreciate that. Meredith sends $50, says, please check out the Christmas ornament fundraiser in the Facebook group. Is this Meredith from the Turtleboy 9 or the Canton 9? Turtleboy mugshot and free Karen Reed ornaments are available for $10 donations to the respective defense funds. We even have Hanukkah ornaments. Thanks to Rude Jen Allman. Oh, and that's it. Somebody else came up with this idea for me. They're like, you should do Cameo. Because people are like, I want you to do a Christmas thing for so-and-so. And I'm like, well, I've actually applied to Cameo and I never heard back. But I'm like, what do I need to be on their website for? I can just do my own cameos. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be doing something like that. We're going to put some sort of offer and something you can purchase for your loved one, like a Turtleboy message to a loved one. I'll just do videos and I'll just email you the video. I'll just keep it real simple like that. So yeah, we'll have something like that in the Turtleboy store coming very soon. The Turtleboy cameos. All right, so thank you very much for that one, Meredith. And she goes, we even have Hanukkah ornaments thanks to Rude Jen Altman. Yeah. Kathleen sends $25, says, love you, Turtleboy. I can't believe the shit is going down with no charges against Rafferty's ex-in-law for the assault of the handicapped blogger. Filming the line into the Canton Town meeting. Is that definite that there's no charges? Is that confirmed? Is that definitely, is Tom pursuing that? That would be wild. That would be wild if true. Jackie sends $10, says, Big Mac Tits is preparing for prison time for beating up the elderly. Next is Jenny from the block. Keep doing the amazing reporting we need, Aidan. Stay strong. Hashtag free Karen Reed. He should. I mean, he should face anyone in that house should go to prison, including Sarah Levinson, Julie Nagel, all these people. I mean, I'm not trying to change anyone's testimony, to be clear. They should do whatever they want. You know, I think everyone should tell the truth. That's just what I believe in. I think it's a good thing when people tell the truth. But if people want to lie and they get caught in their lies, then they can deal with the repercussions of that legally. That's their doing. That's not going to be my problem when this is all said and done. Okay. Do we have any other cash apps here? Emmy also sends $5 and says, Anna Sis is my last name. Go Canton 9. Emmy Anna Sis. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right. Let's see. If anyone else wants to donate, the Turtle Chat is linked to the top, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy. Okay. And I'm also getting a couple DMs here. Let me see what's on the DMs. People keep messaging me about the Helena Rafferty thing. What's this message? Yeah, and I'm not even going to get into that. But yeah, it's very obvious. Like, people actually knew the exact date that people were going to be summons for this, and were posting that they were going to get it on Black Friday. And again, they got it on Black Friday. So it's just very obvious that the district attorney's office is working with certain individuals to leak this information, despite trying to gag the prosecution for doing the same. Okay. Deanna sends $20 up from the Canton 9. Says, we are with you. Thank you for being with us. Oh, of course I would be with you. That's a no-brainer. So this is, the purpose of special surprise live stream here is to raise awareness about this, because, I've seen it posted on the Facebook group, but I haven't had a chance to write about it yet. And we really need to get the word out there about this. And we need an attorney to just, who's passionate, and believe me, I'll start working on this too, getting an attorney. But yeah, we need to start mobilizing legal resources to help these people out as much as possible. So anyway, do I have anything? Oh, let's watch the tape. Let's go watch the tape of what actually happened.
Keeper of the forged signature again.
If papers in their hand, what are they gonna do? Huh? Yeah. 4 cops.
Coming to enforce it. They want us to sign a Make Chris pay his taxes.
I know there's 4 of them. With
So
papers in
look
their
at these people. All right. So they see cops coming with papers in their hands. These people are just standing there. They're on the other side of Washington Street.
Oh, we already know about it.
Okay. Well, you're in violation of it.
How are we in violation of it?
Directly across the street is a witness to a criminal crime. So.
Witness to a criminal crime.
Directly across the street, witness to a criminal.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I want to take a look at that.
You want to read that? Yeah, you can't be within eye shot.
You can't be with an eye shot, he says.
We're not doing any of that.
Peacefully protesting.
You guys want to read it further? We get the peaceful
I saw
protest.
you lost. I know. I know.
We get the. So he hands him 13A, not 13B. Yet they're being charged with 13B as well. And so this man is witness to a criminal crime. And I see a lot of people saying, well, what is he a witness to? You don't actually have to witness the crime to be a witness. He was questioned, like he was with them at the waterfall bar. So Chris Albert certainly is a witness in this case, in the legal sense. The problem with the witness intimidation statute is it also extends to anyone in your family and doesn't explain what family means. That could mean like, is second cousin your family? Like who's family here? Like, why is Lizzie Proctor party to this? Like, why is she? How is she involved in any of this? Or potential witnesses are also, and I'm certainly a potential witness, considering I wrote an affidavit. And we'll see what happens with regards to that. So they hand him here 13A, and they're reading it all. Now listen to this.
What does eyesight mean? Like directly in front? I mean,
Why do we have to? We're not. Okay, but not really.
But not really.
Okay, so yeah, eyesight. Like if he stands outside, is that out of eyesight?
Like
where's the rest of it? Where's the rest of the section? Because
that's the section.
Okay, but where's the rest of the section that says that? Okay.
And by the way, notice that people are like, how did they get them since they refuse to give ID? That guy with the camera, they're not taping them. They're doing facial recognition. That's what they're doing here. That's how they found all these people. Facial dude, that is like Orwellian that they're down there doing shit like that. Like, let's get all your fucking names. Again, they're doing this because there's 9. They're doing this because there's 9. They can control 9. They can't control 300. They can't control 500. Now, I'm not encouraging any of that. I'm just pointing out a fact that it's easy to control 9 people and do this to 9 people. But what would they do? I don't know. How would they control it if this got bigger? Because that's what when you do this to people, it's only encouraging more. Like, they're thinking this is going to scare people. But from my understanding of American history, when you do this to people, it only encourages more of the same behavior. That's just my understanding of how this works. Like, if imagine they had done this to Black Lives Matter and just said, well, yeah, guys, you're witness intimidation. You can't protest in anywhere because there's witnesses around. So they might see it and be scared. So yeah, you can't do that. Are they going to arrest all of Canton? It's like, would they? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. That would certainly get that would get the attention of a lot of important people. And maybe then the ACLU would do something. Again, I'm not allowed to organize protests anymore. But we'll see what happens. All right, back to the video.
What if I just walk up and down this street?
You're an eyesight, he says.
Well, I mean, technically, we're really not eyesight. I mean, D&E's over there. We're in front of.
Can you see D&E?
Oh, so
We're out of his eyesight at all times. We can monitor where he is, so we're out of his eyesight.
I wouldn't say you have to go that far. What I'm saying is, You can't set up shop directly in eyesight of a.
Was it because we were yelling?
So this is can be used against them with their lawyers. They were told by police you can't be within eyesight of a witness. Where is that written down? Where is that part of the statute? Like, this is all the shit. Like, they are being told they can't do something. You can't be within they can't be within eyesight of Chris Albert. Says who? Like, where does that say that? Also, by the way, Chris Albert is an elected official of any of these people. The one that has the least amount of privacy rights is the person who is elected to run the town of Canton. And they have every right to go down there. And people have a right to say that, especially because 2 of the Canton 9 live in Canton and are represented by this guy. He is their elected leader. They have every right. So let me get this straight. Are the people who show up at Board of Selectmen meetings holding signs saying Chris Albert killed a man in 1994, are they intimidating Chris Albert? Are they doing that? Because they're down there holding signs, because he's a witness, right? And they're protesting him and they're within eyesight of him. So is our elected officials just off limits for protesting now? Like, Donald Trump should open up a Trump Tower in Massachusetts because he could not be protested here. He's a defendant in several criminal cases. So he should just open up a Trump Tower in Massachusetts and then no one could protest there. Of course, people would anyway, and we would see what happens if they got arrested or not. All right, let's go on.
Oh, because I was going to say we didn't yell.
Well, what are we influencing the witness in doing?
By the way, he goes, he's appeared in front of grand juries. Oh, really? Officers up? Because it was my understanding that grand juries are sealed. So how do you know that? And by the way, when you're a witness in front of a grand jury, once the grand jury is over, you're no longer a witness in that. So if they're saying that they can't protest Chris Albert because he's a witness in a federal grand jury, well, the federal grand jury is over in the Karen Reed case. They already indicted. It's done. So how can you, so he's no longer on November 5th, 2023, a witness in a federal grand jury. So if you're saying that's what he's a witness to, he no longer is a witness to it, because the grand jury's been over for more than a year. So that's interesting that that's what he would specifically cite. Not the criminal proceedings against Karen Reed, but the grand jury. Interesting.
In discharge of his duty.
We don't
have
anything with any Chris
don't
Albert
testify.
signs.
We're not saying that. But that's what it says.
I just
So
want to know
what
what
does
pays
that?
taxes. That's all I'm.
You don't want to debate it, but you don't want.
nothing
You're
about
not. This is not matching what you're saying. How is it matching what you're saying? Literally right here.
So we can move up a little?
Yeah.
We'll just move up a little.
Your building of residence occupied and used by such a judge, juror, witness. We're not. But it says that we're intent of influencing to discharge of their duty. We're not doing that.
See, the statute says you are attempting to influence the discharge of their duties. They handed them a law, and the problem with the police here is that they didn't think that the Canton 9 can read, and that they didn't think they were smart. But clearly, Deanna knows what she's talking about. She actually reads it, and she says, "I'm not actually attempting to discharge anyone in their duties, yet you're accusing me of doing just that." So what's up with that? And Zepp does not know what to say here.
It's not up for interpretation. It is what it is.
You can see none of our. We have free Karen Reed signs.
I mean, do you have a highlighter so I can highlight that for you?
You guys have signs calling Albert was in the house, free Karen Reed.
Okay.
That's our opinion, though.
Yeah, it's all opinion. But again, what we're saying is.
But what you're saying isn't matching up with what this says.
And by the way, that was another dumb thing for him to say, like pointing out the signs. Now, so what he's saying there is that, no, you're allowed to protest him. You just can't say these things when you do. You can talk about like, oh, I don't like the tax rate in town. I guess that's what he's saying. But or you can have a sign that says Chris Albert's a great guy. Vote for Chris Albert. Yeah, I guess that wouldn't be, but you can't criticize him. That specific line right there is a First Amendment challenge right there, because he's saying too much. He's basically saying you can't say these things outside to this guy. You can say these things, but you can't say these things. Interesting.
This is a lie, and it doesn't match what you're saying. Influencing to discharge of their duty. We're not doing that. His duty
keep
is
it on
to
video.
testify. We're not saying
My phone's gonna die.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
want
live.
to testify. Not live.
Oh.
I guess, yeah, I'm not
So
sure.
can we go? Okay, so what are you gonna do if we don't move?
Anywhere
No,
you
we don't
want.
want to go where you guys tell us to go.
Yeah, that's kind of lame.
Where you want, not nice. I'll leave that up to you guys.
Okay, so what are you gonna do if we don't go?
Like not in eyesight. So what if Chris Albert moves? You can't be within eyesight. So okay, so we'll move. And then what if he follows us? We just have to leave wherever he goes because we're within eyesight. We can't be within an eyesight. Like where again, this guy talked too much in this videotape recording. He talked way too much. And he's just giving attorneys here or whoever the chance to bring all this up.
All right, so well, I guess we can go on the other side of the street because that wouldn't be eyesight, right?
Correct. Can you see D&E for?
Well,
if you're
so
seeing
what
I
if
mean,
we-
I could this way, but
We're not facing it. We can't see it. Where's the law say about his eyesight?
No,
Actually, what is it? So it says within
Or don't look at this as eyesight.
Where does it say that? Wait, within his eyesight or?
Jeez.
But if we were protesting Chris, it would be
Where
different.
does it say eyesight on here? Just trying to see that.
I don't know. They must not. They don't have body cams.
And by the way, this is Mike Bradford. He's not even holding a sign. He's just wearing a sweatshirt with John O'Keefe's face on it. Like that's, you can't even do that in Canton, apparently. No, he's holding a free Karen Reed sign. I apologize.
Oh, you're 100% right. It doesn't say.
So tell Polina if she's gonna
Interesting.
step up, give it to us to make sure she
How about that part? She goes, "You're 100% right. It doesn't say that." There you go. And yet you're still charging him. You have your cop on the scene admitting, nope, actually doesn't say. Yeah, it actually doesn't say any of that. I was just making that up. Got me. You got me.
No, we're good. It's not even valid. I would love to put it on.
Can you grab anyone's name who wants to?
I don't want to give my name.
Who wants to what?
Give their name.
Don't
For what?
You don't have to give your name.
Don't give your name. Why would you give your name?
No, we're not. But I'm just. Why do we
We're
want to
not
give our
doing anything
name?
illegal.
I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
We're just sitting here with signs.
I know you're just doing your job, but you're wasting your time because we're not doing anything wrong. I'm not giving you my name.
We can't even call the state police.
Thanks for coming.
Just call them.
An elderly woman and a turtle CUMT. You're standing here just peacefully protesting. So
Like they're not even across the street. They're like way diagonal.
harassment that's happened all night.
Thank you so much. Have a good
Thanks.
day.
That's it. So that's it. That's the totality of it all. They admit, yep, you got us. Nothing there. And that's it. And yet they're still being charged, even the police themselves, when put on the spot, they couldn't come up with a crime. Now let's go back and read the federal complaint into this and the judge's response. Judge Equity's response to this. Let's see what she had to say. Okay. Wait, hold on. Okay. All right. So it says here, this is Judge Casper's response. So she says, here the plaintiffs argue that they face a credible threat of prosecution. And this is the reason why she denied the restraining order. Here they argue they face a credible threat. Okay, this is a message that says the clerk magistrates are not required to hold a Juris Doctorate, a law degree. A good percentage are attorneys, but some are just trial court hacks, usually the probation department, that get appointed. They have to go through the governor's council. So that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, just like I thought. All right. Anyway, so it says here, right, that they face a credible threat of prosecution based on the police officer defendant's statement that the plaintiffs would be arrested for witness intimidation if they protested within view of the witness. Okay. However, it is not clear from the record whether the plaintiffs have same or similar basis for injury in fact and standing as, for one example, the plaintiff who had been arrested and blah, 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 blah. So they're saying here that, okay, you claim, the plaintiffs in this case claim, the Canton 9 claim, that they have that they face a credible threat of prosecution based on what the cops said. But it's not clear that they do. Well, guess what? Now they clearly do. So if this order was denied, this temporary restraining order was denied because there was no clear threat of prosecution, what's the judge got to say now? Do you still feel that way, Your Honor? It goes on to say, the police, they, in connection, deem a witness intimidation, plaintiffs will be arrested. The police officer defendants handed the plaintiffs a copy of 13A. Plaintiffs refer to a planned protest on November 12th and have alleged that their plans to proceed with same have been chilled by the actions of the defendants. Accordingly, the plaintiffs assert that injunctive relief now is necessary to permit the plaintiffs to peacefully protest this upcoming Sunday. It is amendment that said that okay. 13A in relevant part provides that anyone with the intent of interfering with, obstructing, or impeding the administration of justice, or with the intent of influencing any witness in the discharge of his duties, pickets in or near a building or residence occupied or used by such witness, shall be subject to criminal penalty. So again, the statute itself, the mere fact that they gave these people a copy of the statute, and it says, if you don't obey this statute, which you're in violation of, we're telling you right now you're in violation of it, it results in a criminal penalty. So clearly the threat of arrest or prosecution was already there. We knew that. But the judge is playing dumb and saying, well, they haven't actually been charged, so what's the problem? You know? Goes on to say, here the plaintiffs rely upon the police officer defendants' alleged statements about possible arrest and their distribution of a copy of MGL 13A. It is not clear that such circumstances show a sufficiently imminent threat of arrest. Okay. They also claim that they face a credible threat of prosecution, or by alleging that they were chilled from exercising their First Amendment rights to avoid enforcement consequences. Although the fear of prosecution must be objectively reasonable, the evidentiary bar that must be met is extremely low, and a party need not violate the statute and suffer the penalty in order to generate a conflict worthy of standing in federal court. Accordingly, a plaintiff has suffered an injury in fact and has standing when facing threatened enforcement of law. Right? So the judge agrees. If you are being threatened with arrest for exercising your First Amendment rights, then your speech is being chilled. Like, she agrees with that. Totally agrees with that. But then she goes on to say, the plaintiffs further reply upon a Canton Police Department reply to a public records request that denied them the same on the basis of an exemption from disclosure from an ongoing investigation. The reference to an ongoing investigation does not suggest on this record that such investigation concerns these plaintiffs or charges against them under 13A, such that the court could conclude that their arrest or prosecution is sufficiently imminent. Well, how do you feel now, Judge? Do you feel stupid? Because you should. Because it turns out that there actually was a pretty good reason to think that prosecution was imminent, because now they're being prosecuted. So I guess this whole order needs to be overturned, because it was all based on the idea that there was no imminent threat of prosecution. Clearly there is. Clearly there is, because they're being prosecuted. Goes on to say, that having been said, there has been no disavowal of the defendants not to charge the plaintiffs, or that their interpretation is unreasonable. For all these reasons, and at this early juncture on the factual record before it, the court assumes that the plaintiffs have met the extremely low bar in that context and have shown injury in fact traceable to the defendant's conduct that would be redressed by the relief. So she agrees. Okay, fine. They're not denying that they're not going to arrest you. So we're just going to assume that they might. Goes on to say, the judge pointed out the standard of judicial scrutiny warranted by a government restriction varies based on whether the restriction is content or based or content neutral. Content-based regulations are presumptively unconstitutional. So they agree that, like, this, if for instance the cops say that you can't say that Colin Albert was in the house on a sign, that's saying it's not content neutral. It's not content neutral. She goes on to say, at the protest, the plaintiffs held signs with slogans such as Free Karen Reed and Justice. So there you go. Although Cox was decided before the Supreme Court's modern jurisprudence distinguishing between content-based and content-neutral restrictions, those decisions have not overruled Cox. In addition, courts have consistently emphasized the compelling state interest in protecting witnesses from intimidation, harassment, and threats of physical violence. The purpose of the statute is to protect witnesses from being bullied or harried so that they do not become reluctant to testify or to give truthful evidence. No one has ever alleged that that's what these people are doing. As alleged, plaintiffs did not gather in any other public location but outside of Albert's place of business. There is nothing in the statute or as applied to the plaintiffs that would prohibit them from gathering to do the same in other locations, but they want to protest there. They have a right to protest there, period. What if Chris Albert's not working that day? Can they protest then there? Like, do they have to make sure he's not working? Like, what is this? The fact that the protest took place outside an individual witness's place of work and involved multiple participants tends to increase, not decrease, the risk that the witness's testimony may be influenced. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard a judge say. That basically, because there was more than one protester there, it increased the chances that Chris Albert might decide to snitch on his son and send him to prison. Right. I mean, look at these scary faces of the Canton Nine. Aren't they scary? Look at them all. Justice. Free Karen Reed. Free Turtleboy. Free Karen Reed. Colin Albert was in the house. Oh, no, not an American flag. Oh, God forbid. And they're wearing sweatshirts, too. Oh, you can't do any of that. I mean, they want us to believe that these 9 people here are felons. Like, that's what they're trying to do here. Goes on to say, the plaintiff's assertion that they would not have been threatened with arrest if they had expressed support for the witness's expected testimony is not supported by the factual allegations of the verified complaint. On the record here, the police officer defendants merely advised the plaintiffs of the existence of the witness intimidation statute and expressed an intent to enforce the law if violated. Again, they said that they might do this. That's intent, but now they actually have done it. As the Supreme Court has explained, the loss of First Amendment freedoms for even minimal periods of time unquestionably constitutes irreparable injury. Here, however, plaintiffs have not shown a risk of irreparable harm if the injunctive relief is not granted. Although plaintiffs allege that they, quote, have determined to not move forward with the November 12th planned protest in support of Reed and other similar such protests, they have provided no details regarding the planned protests and why such protests would inevitably be viewed by law enforcement as violated of 13A. The defendants are not alleged to have issued any prohibition on protests related to the Reed prosecution. What? They literally are on tape telling these people that you can't protest here because you're protesting in favor of Karen Reed. So you must leave. Like, moreover, it is not clear that any exercise of free speech has been chilled, where plaintiffs have other public forums to express their views. Okay, so apparently it has now. They've been charged, or they've been had a criminal complaint filed against them. So apparently they are now. So we'll see what comes of that. I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, it's like this happened just found out about this yesterday. I had family up all weekend. I haven't had much time to really look into this too much or talk to attorneys or anything about this. But yeah, we got the Canton 9. Definitely, I'm going to help them out as much as possible, both with help getting attorneys and with financial support any way I can. It'll be my pleasure to help them out in any way that they can. And again, what they're trying to do here is chill public protests in Canton. That's what they're trying to do here. Make you scared to protest in Canton. And again, we'll see what happens. We'll see if other people, if people are scared. Are people scared of the Canton police? We'll find out. We'll find out if this will stop the protesting in front of D&E Pizza. We'll see if free citizens decide to just be scared and bow to a tyrannical government. We'll see. I don't know what they're going to do. I have no way to predict the future. So, okay. It's, is it illegal to demonstrate in Canton? It seems to be, because you can't go anywhere in that town without being within eyesight of a witness, a potential witness, or a family member of a witness. And this is like Meredith points out here, and I think this has a lot to do with it, right? They're trying to distract from the biggest fundraisers for Karen Reed and Turtleboy. I think that my arrest was supposed to distract from Karen Reed financially and with this case. And now they're just adding more to the pile. But I'm telling you right now, like how the freedom rides worked in 1961, in the summer of 61, is that people just didn't stop coming. And that's how they work. People are just like, fine, I don't care, arrest me. And that eventually got legal resources together. So we need the ACLU involved. We need to start doing this. We need to start organizing more. So there's that. Okay. Let me check the donos here. A couple more turtle chats to read. Probot sends $25 and said, I just want to reiterate that Jen McCabe made a 911 call stating, quote, there is a man passed out on the front lawn. Not a Boston police officer, not her supposed friend, but a man. Yeah, she does say that, I'm told, in the 911 tape. As if she didn't know him or who he was. Strategically, so there wouldn't be a huge scene, knowing the response for an officer down. Oh, that's a good point. Wouldn't be as explosive. That's a good point. Imagine if Karen was able to make that call and how different the response could have been. Point being, quite possibly a different outcome had it been aired for what it truly was. Shame on them. Hashtag justice for John O'Keefe. I truly hope this fact is talked about if there is a trial. Would have been hard to keep the investigation out of the house if this was the outcome. She definitely downplayed that during the call. Yeah, I think the call is going to be very revealing to people when the call is officially made public and I publish it on the blog or whatever. But okay, thank you very much, Probot. Bobby sends $20 and says, thanks for helping us. Big Bobby, part of the Canton 9. Oh, Bobby was one of the Canton 9? Were you in the picture, Bobby? Oh, well, thank you, man. Hopefully you don't get a summons too. We'll see. Donna sends $5 and says, are we getting arrested for witness intimidation if we come to your hearing supporting Turtleboy? I mean, we'll see. It's like, what if Chris Albert comes to my hearings? Do you guys all have to leave? I mean, this is madness. Madness. Okay, let me read a couple more turtle chats here. Do we have any more? Let's see. I got another one here from Paul, since $20. Turtleboy can't encourage a protest, but I definitely can and will help organize with some others. So I think this is Paul Cristoforo. So maybe we can have, it's Paul is the guy who's organized a bunch of the standouts and the the highway standouts, the overpass standouts. And so maybe I'll have him on my show and do an interview with him about what he's got planned for this. Again, I'm just interviewing people. I'm not encouraging anything myself. But maybe I'll have him on to do an interview to talk about that. He says, get on the justice page and check in at my post. Enough is enough, Paul says. We need numbers. Losing out rights is more scary than protesting. Yeah, I'll tell you what, like, this is definitely, if I could, I would be there. If I could, but I would be arrested on the spot. And I'd spend 90 days in jail. So, yeah, when will the ER doctor get arrested? Another very good question. Any more cash apps here? Oh, Catherine Kelly sends $20 and says, how about a freestyle rap to cap off the evening? I got a confession to make. They're not actually freestyles. I pre-write them ahead of time. I haven't done one in a while. Maybe I'll bring one back. Yeah, Kim Ferguson is my state rep. She's very responsive. So I'm going to contact her and let her know about it. But we need to all contact our state reps and state senators about this. All right. Does anyone else have any, if anyone else wants to donate to a turtle chat that they want me to read off, you can click at the link at the top and write a message, and I will read it out loud when I get your thing. I just got another one from Jen Altman, sends $25 and says, give to the Canton 9. Absolutely. There is a give, send, go that Jen Altman has started for them. And certainly, yeah, we'd like to help them just with just get an attorney for this whole, you don't want to get charged with this. It's not, and it's going to be interesting to see for my case. You don't want to get charged with this because then you're in my boat. You don't want to be in my boat. You want this dropped. And honestly, if this ends up getting dropped, if their charges don't go through, that makes my case a hell of a lot stronger. A hell of a lot stronger. It already does. So, okay. Does anyone else have any other questions? Are donations tax deductible? I don't know. So, like, guys, this is just my reminder here that this is all temporary. This is all temporary. A year from now, Thanksgiving, a year from now, this will be a much different situation. I will not be facing charges anymore. Karen Reed will not be facing charges anymore. I will not be in jail. Karen Reed will not be in jail. None of these people will be in jail. And the people who actually murdered John O'Keefe will be in deep shit. So there's just a daily reminder that they are not going to get away with this. They are not going to allow them to get away with this. And I hope they're enjoying whatever sense of relief that they have right now, because it's going to be temporary. It's going to be temporary. Yeah, it would be nice if other police departments stepped up and said, yeah, that, but don't expect it anytime soon. Oh, dude, you know what's so funny? I need to do a stream on this. I went through, let me get it. I went through a shoebox here the other day, because sometimes I go through shit and I'm like, what did the state police find? And I got a shoebox here of old shit from when I was a teacher. And like, I'm reading through some of them, and it really just brought up some memories of that. And I got to read one to you. Anyway, any other questions or comments? Hold on. I have not seen the Celebrate report that he submitted. I'm sure it'll come out. It's like when Aaron Hernandez drove to Foxborough Stadium thinking that they were going to bail him out, and he had to leave and a chopper was getting it all. I remember that. I remember that too. Didn't they kick him out? Hold on, let me get this for you. Let me read this for you. It's kind of funny. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. So I used to be a teacher, and 10 years ago in November of 2013, or no, December, I think of 2013, I used to do November 20th. This is dated. So I used to do a blog before Turtleboy called Aidan from Worcester.com. If you read my book, I Am Turtleboy on Amazon, it explains the whole thing. And the reason that I ended that blog and I started Turtleboy in December of 2013. So we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary of the creation of Turtleboy Sports. Was that I needed to be anonymous. Like, it was called before this Aidan from Worcester.com. And it's just kind of too obvious that, it's me, because I was Aidan from Worcester and my picture was on it. So if I wanted to do this, it needed to be anonymous. And I was just going through my priceless memories here of what happened. And I found this letter here from my principal, who is a see you next Tuesday. And it's notice of intent to suspend pursuant of MGL chapter 71, section 42D. So I got this really official, like 12-page letter from the principal and the superintendent that they'd obviously gone over with their lawyers. And they're explaining why they were going to suspend me without pay. It says, it is with regret that as principal of Shepherd Hill Regional, I hereby notify you in accordance with MGL whatever, that based upon the information presently available to me, I intend to suspend you from all your employment, including such as a high school history teacher and boys cross country and track coach with the Dudley Charlton Regional School District and Shepherd Hill Regional High School for 5 school days, namely for the period December 4th through December 10th of 2013. I welcome any other further information, and you can get a lawyer and blah, 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 blah. And then they go on to explain. They got like a 12-page document here about why I'm being suspended. And they go over, it's all from the Aidan from Worcester.com blog. And I was reading this over last night and just cracking up about this shit. I'm like, okay. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. I might do a blog about, a story about this, not a blog. A story about this. And it's just wild about why I could never be a teacher anymore. Yes, actually, she was horrible. This woman's just horrible. Like, she was a shrew, a miserable shrew. And okay, so I don't know which one to read. There's so many funny ones. Okay. All right. All right, here's one. Okay. In May of 2013, in a complaint, a woman named Jennifer Marchand. Okay. So this is about a blog I did about, do you guys remember the Boston Marathon terrorist? So I had Aidan from Worcester was a blog when the Boston Marathon got blown up. I was there that day, actually. I was about 100 feet from the second bomb when it went off. My brother had run the marathon that day. We were at the Prudential Center watching mile 26 when it all happened. Right. And so I'm like, and yes, that is what it is. Correct. And so I'm like standing there, and I ended up writing about it when I went home, and it got a lot of attention. And then when they killed the terrorist number one, Timon, whatever his name was, they were like, okay, we need to bury him somewhere. And they were like, we're going to bury him in Worcester. There's this guy that buries paupers in Worcester. His name is Peter Stephan. He died a couple years ago, but he buries paupers. And so he was going to bury the terrorists. And there was this protest that happened in Worcester where all these yahoos came out, and they were like, no, don't, you're not allowed to bury him here. And I'm like, who gives a shit? Like, I wrote a blog. I'm like, You go in the ground and they bury you and then worms eat you. So who gives a shit what municipality they're buried in? Like who cares? And all these yahoos came down with signs and like morons. And one of them was actually Brett Killeran. I found out a couple years later. But one of these women was named Jennifer Marchand, and she had some sign, some absurd sign, and she was in the newspaper. And so I made fun of her. And so this is what it said. This is in the write-up I got. It says, in the May of 2013 complaint, a Jennifer Marchand telephoned the school several times complaining that she was being ridiculed by you on aidanfromworcester.com. So, oh no, she's being ridiculed. So she called the school. And this is why I had to be anonymous. She had asked you several times to remove all references to her on the blog. You refused. Oh no. Miss Marchand was extremely upset and begged for our assistance, knowing that you are a teacher and a coach at Shepherd Hill Regional High School. I am as principal of Shepherd Hill, where you teach, and the assistant principal, Michael Resner, met with you and your Dudley Charlton Teachers Association representative. At that time, you were cooperative and agreed to remove any reference to her from your blog. I don't know why I caved like that, but you also agreed to remove an item which you had authored, which suggested to seniors that high school graduation ceremonies are a waste of time and that they should not attend, and they should, quote, just have a big party instead. So I wrote this blog. I totally forgot about this. I wrote a blog in which I said that high school graduations are a huge waste of time. And if I could do it again, I would skip mine. Because it's true. It's like high school graduations. There is no bigger waste of time than a high school graduation. I stand by that. Like it's a celebration of mediocrity. It's a celebration of like I graduated with morons. Like if you can't graduate from high school, what's wrong with you? Like it is literally, you get a bunch of D minuses in all your classes and you graduate. It's not like we're having a ceremony for excellence here. We're literally having a ceremony that people, congratulations, you got a bunch of 62s. And we're going to put on a robe and go and like, just send me the freaking diploma in the mail. I'd rather just have a party for us. Like, let's just have let's go straight to the after party, the graduation, not even liquor, but I'm saying like, let's just have a graduation party. I think that would be better than this stupid ceremony where we come out here and we celebrate mediocrity, because that's all high school graduations are. They are a celebration of mediocrity. And I would skip mine because they're 3 hours long too. And they're like dumb. They're really stupid. So I write about this and I got in trouble for it. And it says the items were removed. You said that you would be more careful in the future. As a result, progressive discipline was limited to a verbal reprimand. So you can't say that, high school, whatever, graduations are a waste of time, because you can't say that, I guess. And it's against like bullying. So that she talks about like how my blogs make students, like if a student were to read it, they would feel uncomfortable coming to me with bullying situations. And I talk about the Jonathan Martin and Richie Incognito story back then. But I found one other one. Some of these, oh my God. Oh, how about this one? I got in trouble for. Okay. So one day I'm driving. We had to leave. We had a cross country meet. And I drove there because it was in Webster, the town next to Dudley. And so I'm on my way. It's like noon. And I go down this road called Mason Road, actually. And that takes you towards like Webster. And there's an elementary school on that street, Mason Road Elementary. And I pull onto the street. And at the corner of the street, there is a guy. Okay. And where do you see this picture? Actually, I think I have it. Let me see if I can get it for you real quick. You got to see this picture. Sorry, I'm going off on a little tangent here. But you got to see this image. Hold on. No, it's here somewhere. I think I have it somewhere. All right, I'll try to find it another time. Anyway, I'll paint you a picture of it. So there's a guy lying on his car is next to him, and there's a man lying on the ground, rolling around in the ground. Can't stand up, and his car door is open, and the engine's running, and he's next to a fire hydrant. So I'm like, was there an accident here? Did this guy get in an accident? But I'm like, wait a minute. Then it's like, well, he's on the ground, and the door's open, and he's rolling around. So I go over there. I'm like, do you need help, buddy? And he's wasted. Now it's noon in his school zone on like a Tuesday. And I'm like in the middle of Dudley. And so I'm like, okay, it's not making any sense at all. So I called the police and I took a picture of him. And when I got home later that night, I did a blog about it. And it was entitled, so this is what they write. This is what she writes. I got in trouble for this. A post on October 23rd, 2013 is entitled, quote, "Did I find the world's drunkest driver at noon today in Dudley?" It includes 4 photographs of a man lying on the ground next to a car with its license plate visible, thereby identifying the individual. Well, if you can run the plates. In the blog, you state that the man sounded like... In the blog, you state that the man sounded as if he had Down syndrome. Then, clearly mindful of the likely effect of such a comment on some readers, disclaiming any intent to be mean or offensive to anyone who has a loved one with Down syndrome, and adding, quote, "So please spare me any complaints about this comment." Because I thought he had Down syndrome when I first got there, and I'm like, does this guy have Down syndrome? Because he wasn't making, I'm like, but then get this. So it goes on, and goes, and you go on to say that you thought maybe he was a person with Down syndrome and that you would therefore continue on your way, but something was fishy, quote, as he was alone, the car door was wide open, the car motor running, the car being on the wrong side of the road, and quote, "People with Down syndrome don't drive." That's what I wrote in the blog. I'm like, wait a minute, because I'm like telling my version of the story. I come across this guy, he's on the ground, he's not making any sense, and I'm like, does this guy have Down syndrome? But then I realized, wait a minute, people with Down syndrome don't drive. So he can't have Down syndrome. So it's just me explaining how I reached the conclusion that I reached. I really thought he had Down syndrome first. But then I realized, oh, wait, he can't. And so I wrote in there, I go, I even said, this is not mean. I'm not trying to be offensive, but I thought he had Down syndrome. And he goes on to say, seemingly implying that it would be normal for a person with Down syndrome to be lying on the side of the road in the leaves, and that if such were the case, you would simply pass them by. Your comments and photos ridiculing this individual go on for 4 pages, but he doesn't have Down syndrome. He was shit-faced in a school zone, so drunk that he crashed his car into a curb by himself, a single car accident, and somehow fell out of the vehicle and was rolling around in the leaves. And I come across this and I do my job. I call the cops and I took a picture of this. It goes on. She goes on to say, and immediately below the link to the article and photographs, you ask people to share it. And you repeat that at the end, or your comments themselves, thus encouraging dissemination of the photograph. Oh no, you encourage people to share about this criminal drunk driving during the middle of the day. Your actions and documentation of this event were done during the school day because we got dismissed for a cross-country meet. And I'm like going along the way and I saw this, I documented it. While you were on duty as a school district employee, I am highly concerned and disappointed that you are posting pictures of a person in our school community on a public website. And this person could be the parent, sibling, uncle, or friend of a student or staff member. So basically they're saying you're being mean to the drunk driver who is literally shit-faced on the ground during the middle of the day in a school zone. Because that could be one of your students' uncles or you're being mean to the drunk driver. This is why I can't teach. Like, this is why I'm like, this is not the job for me anymore. If you want me to say nice things about the drunk driver who's rolling around in the leaves at noon in a school zone, I'm not your guy. Not your guy. She goes on to say, and regardless of whether such were the case, this posting by all appearances is a deliberate act, the intent and effect of which is to ridicule another human being. Oh no, not the drunk driver. This is diametrically opposite to the values we hope to instill in our students, which is to say respect and care for others. You got to respect that guy. You got to respect the drunk. Furthermore, the comment about, quote, sounding like he had Down syndrome is particularly offensive to anyone who has a relative with this condition or a child with special needs. It's hard to imagine how one could set a poorer example for our students. How about this? Beyond the above, the posting is arguably defamatory. How is it defamatory? And thus risks liability for yourself, undefeated, and conceivably could even lead to a lawsuit against the school district, be it by the individual who you photographed, his family, or a student or parent alleging damage from having viewed the same, since you are known in the community to be a teacher in our schools. By way of example, defamation claims are often excluded from standard liability policies, and even if such a lawsuit had no merit, the costs of the defense could be substantial. So basically, you're going to get sued if the drunk driver says that you defamed him. The November complaint, the November complaint further states that, quote, posts at the site show that Mr. Kearney is a proudly sexist, homophobic, and transphobe. It goes, and then I'm going to write a story about this, the whole thing. People are saying, send the picture. I got it here somewhere. I could have sworn. Hold on. Let me find this picture. Where do you see this guy? He was hammered. I tell you. I'll find it. Give me a minute. You got to see this picture. I could have sworn I sent this out. I got it here somewhere. Oh, here it is. I found it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. You got to see this guy. He was plastered. And again, I got in trouble for this. It's like, you can't be mean to this guy. This guy is like, he could sue us for deformation. He, again, drunk driver, middle of the day, hammered. And once you see how he came out, you'll understand it a little bit better. Where'd it go? So this is what I found. I'm like driving along, and there it is. Like, so there's some guy here. I'm like, how is he parked like this? This is on Mason Road, a school that has an elementary school on, or a street that has an elementary school on it. And you come across this, and you're like, is that guy dead? That guy's dead, right? You're like, holy shit. And it's like, but wait a minute. And I'm like, wait a minute. This isn't adding up here. Something's not adding up here. Why? It's a single car. He didn't crash into anything. How did he roll out? Why is the car still running? It makes no sense. So then I go over to the guy. I get a little closer to him and I start asking him questions. And this is what he does. He's wearing pajama pants too. He's rolling around in the leaves, like wasted. He can't stand up. He's so drunk. Blah, 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 blah. And he's wearing pajama pants in the middle of the day. And I'm like, yeah, so this, I read a story and I'm like, this guy is, again, the title of the blog that I got in trouble for. They said that this is bullying or something. Was where'd it go? Oh, did I find the world's drunkest driver at noon today in Dudley? It was 4 paragraphs long. And again, when I found this dude, I really thought he had Down syndrome at first, like that. And so I'm just writing my thoughts, my stream of consciousness here. I find this dude and I'm like, does this guy, he was sound like he, you know, and again, I'm not mocking. I'm just telling people my thought process. But then I'm like, oh, but wait a minute. People with Down syndrome don't drive. So they can't. So I ruled that one out. I ruled it out. And yeah, I don't know what ended up happening to this guy, but you can't be mean to him. And then I get into we had a meeting for this. So they wanted to suspend me for 5 days with no pay. There's more examples of things they got in trouble for on here too. And I can get into that another time. They wanted to suspend me 5 days without pay. That's like teachers get paid by the day too. You know that teachers only get paid for 180 days a year. So like there's this myth that teachers get paid in the summer. They don't. You can get less in each check and keep getting checks over the summer, but you don't actually get paid for over the summer. You only get paid for the days you work. So you work 180 days a year. So to have days suspended without pay for 5 days, it's actually like it adds up to like 8 or 9 days. So it's significant. It was a good chunk of cash. And I'm like, okay, so I have a union representative and they were like, basically, we had a lawyer. I got a lawyer for this. They give you a free lawyer. And they're like, we could fight it, but you're going to be suspended in the meantime and for the full 5. And if we lose, you're out of luck, but they're willing to negotiate here. And so they're willing to do 3 days. And so I took the 3. I look back and I probably should have fought it. I just was like, I didn't want, I'm like, I don't want to get fired. I want to lose my job here. And so then what did I do? Like a week later, I started another blog, and honestly, I'm like, fuck this. I took like a week off from blogging, and I'm like, you know what? The only reason they caught me is because I run a blog called aidanfromworcester.com. So what if I just make an anonymous, whatever? And then I created the Clarence Woods Emerson account as like my anonymous alter ego, and people knew it was me, but like they couldn't prove it. So that's how I started. And then I did that anonymously for 9 months. And then I ended up getting doxxed after the trip to Buffalo, which again, you can read all about in the book. And they found out I was doing this the whole time. And they tried, based on this other suspension, they're like, that was like my final warning, like next is termination. And I fucked around I played with fire. They found out that I was still blogging and they were going to push for termination. Now we could have fought it because my lawyer was like, they can't prove it was you. How can they prove that you were writing these stories? They can't do it. And I'm like, you know what? I don't really want this fucking job. He's like, I don't, because then the union came to me and they said, well, they're offering, this is their offer, a full year's salary to just walk away. It was November of 2014 at that point, a full year's salary to walk away. And I'm like, you know what? I don't really want this fucking job. I want the money. And I want to be Turtleboy. I want to make Turtleboy my life. I want to make Turtleboy my business. And I'm like, I never envisioned the day in which I'm like, okay, all in, quit my job with, health insurance and pension and all this shit. Just quit it and start Turtleboy, make Turtleboy my life. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take a chance. I'm 32 years old. I think baby was on the way. And it was like, you know what? If I'm going to do this now, if I'm ever going to make a career move like this, it's got to come before the baby gets here. And because you ain't going to have time. You're changing diapers later on. And it's like, you got to do it now. And so I did it now. And yeah, I had like 5,000 followers on Facebook. And yeah, that was my lie that I told for a while. Serenity knows it. I'm like, I just do the advertising because I had to register a corporation with the state and my name is going to be on it that way. So I called it Turtleboy Digital Marketing. And I'm like, I don't write the blogs. I just sell the advertising. Everybody knew that was a lie. But it was just, I kept my anonymity, even though I left my job. I kept my anonymity officially until I wrote the book, I Am Turtleboy, in late 2018. That was kind of like my coming out book. So yeah. Anyway, so that is my story of Turtleboy. So I'll write that whole thing. Go and read the book. You guys, if you're new here, if you want to know how this all got started, it's actually a fascinating story. The book is available on Amazon called I Am Turtleboy. Okay. Anyone have any questions or anything they want to talk about? But we got some more turtle chats. Let me read these out. Bobby sends $5 and says that he left right before the picture was taken. Lucky you, Bobby. Maybe we'll see if you get a summons. I don't know. Samantha sends $28, says, why is it so hard to find the call on Twitter? Just, you got to be, you're not just going to find it. It's about messaging people. Think about who would have it. Message them. I bet you they can get it for you. Kathleen sends $20 and says, thank you. I appreciate that, Kathleen. Bill sends $10 and says, Peter Espesi is an ass clown lawyer. He's a snake in the grass and part of the Reddington Mellow crew. Okay. Peter Espesi is a lawyer on there. He does argue with people. He is a know-it-all. I get it. I don't really know him. I chirped at him a couple times for sure. I think he is friends with them, but I don't think that Reddington and Mello are as chummy as you guys think. I actually like Kevin Reddington. I'm not gonna lie. He's grown on me a lot. I like Kevin Reddington. Obviously, he must be somewhat of a good attorney because he gets the biggest clients. But, you know, in this case, he's representing someone I consider evil incarnate. But he's got nothing but good things to say about me, like as far as I'm concerned. So, you know, I got nothing but good things to say about Reddington. All right. Yeah, that guy did do me a favor, and Buffalo was really did me a favor. You know, the James Krieger from Buffalo, the guy who doxed me, is really the guy that launched my career as Turtleboy. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. Let me read a couple more turtle chats here. Donna sends $5, says, are they going to charge us with witness intimidation for showing up to support you at your hearing? We'll see. Depends who's there. Kirsten sends $10 and says, I'm from Canton, and a group of Canton guys were at a bar in Seaport last night and pretended that you were calling them for some reason. They might know my boyfriend supports you and Karen. Did you call Canton Townies last night? No, I did not. So I don't know what that's about, but any other questions here? Let's see. Any other cash apps rather? Let me see cash apps. I don't want to miss anyone. We're good there. All right. Anyone else have any questions before we call it a night? The FBI lady posted the whole thing. That's interesting. All right, going to Stoughton Tuesday again. Stoughton is at 2:00 on Tuesday, not 9. 2:00. Oh, so she only posted 18 seconds. Of course she did. All right. Anyone else have questions before we call it a night? A cash app here from Jessica sends $20 and just says justice. Justice. That's all she says. That can get you 5 to 10 in Canton. Fantasy football average. I think I'm 5 and 6, something like that. Okay. She didn't post the whole thing, just 15 seconds. Trying to get ahead of it, probably do some like cover up or whatever. Again, I keep seeing the question asked. I don't understand what that is. Was I a fun teacher? You know, I was serious about it, but I like to think that we had a good time. But I was pretty serious about my craft. Again, read my book. I would just read the book. But anyway, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Thank you guys, everything. Thank everybody for the donos. Shout out to the Canton 9. You guys are amazing. And we'll see what happens in the future. If this is the end or just the beginning, we shall see. All right. Peace, Turtle Riders.